I started my content creator journey 12 months ago, posting short form videos on Instagram and TikTok. And here's what I've learned. Hey guys, my name's Trent and I am not a full-time content creator. I think that I am. I work full-time as a video producer. I have a full-time job. And this is just something that I wanted to do on the side. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And the first videos that I posted were in January 2024. It's now January 2025 for the fact checkers. And I wanted to sort of do a video to share my experience on how it's been for me over the 12 months, what I've learned from creating short form content, what works, what doesn't, how many followers I've gained, that kind of thing. For those of you who might be thinking of doing the same thing. Wow, a YouTube ad on my screensaver, that's actually wild. Blocked and reported. There's loads of videos out there on YouTube about growing Instagram channels and all of that. And to me, they were a little bit unrealistic. And I say that because I didn't quit my job to do this full time and post 5 times a day. This is just something that I've done on the side throughout the last 12 months of holding a full-time job and doing short form content. I've got some notes here on the screen because I'm not a professional. I'm not a tech review channel. I don't have an auto cue. I'm sorry. So why I started the channel, I've always been someone who's been creative. I've been doing photography and video, like paid work as like a side media business that I have for a long time. I studied communications at uni, social media, that kind of thing. I've just always been around that space. I just love content creators and what they do. And I just always thought that I could do something like that. And the other thing is I make videos full time for a living for other people. And I was like, you know what? I want to start my own thing. I know I can do it. And when you start seeing people post stuff online and you're sort of scrolling through and you're like, I could do that, or I could do that better. Or I think that's when you know that you can do it. I've always been a bit of a clown, a bit of a larrikin. Sorry, I hated that. What sort of content do I make? So I make short form comedy reels, lots of nostalgia, relatable kind of stuff. I hate that hashtag relatable. But it is like you want to create stuff that people will feel something from it, or make them sort of want to share it with a mate and be like, oh my God, this happened to me the other day. So that's kind of what I focus on. And how I got started was, it was just things that I was experiencing myself. For example, delayed courier packages not arriving on time and things like that. I was getting frustrated from it. So I thought other people must be feeling the same way about this. So let's just make a reel and see how it does. I was pretty much posting at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. I think I posted probably like 80 reels, I'd say, in total throughout the year, not including a few brand ones that I made as well, which I'm really proud of. My first brand gig was with Spotify. And then I also did one for Hard Rated, which is like an alcohol brand. How did my videos perform over the 12 months on Instagram and TikTok? Well, a few of them went viral. That sounds really douchey, but I guess, yeah, a few of them got 2-3 million views. And I gained a few followers from it. I gained 10,000 followers combined. So across TikTok and Instagram. I'm so proud of myself, which isn't a whole lot. You know, you see so many YouTubers being like, I gained 100,000 followers in 2 months. And whilst that's probably true, it's just not achievable for a lot of people who are just thinking of doing it like I am, or being in my situation of having a full-time job, but then wanting to start this on the side. It is achievable, but I think it's, if you go in there with that goal straight up, you're probably just going to be like, I hate this. What am I doing? So just go in there with more of an open mind and see what can happen. The content that did really well, I found, were the ones that people also experienced in their own life. So I sort of thought about things that are happening in my life that frustrate me, or I think that are funny, or, you know, finding humor in something that we do every day and making a reel about that. And people connected with those and they were very shareable amongst their friends. And the Australia Post ones, for example, they did really well. I did like 3 or 4 of them in a series, and each of them hit at least 1 million views, because that was something that people feel, that frustration when their parcels don't arrive. They can laugh at it when they're watching it back and send it to a mate. So now getting into what did I learn over these 12 months from posting content once, twice a week? First of all, it's much harder to gain a follow now than I assume it used to be. And I think this is due to there's such a saturation of content now being posted. I don't know about you, but if I get sent a funny reel, or if I come across someone and I'm looking at a reel, yeah, it'll be funny and I'll like it, or I might send it to a mate, but it won't make me want to just follow that creator immediately. Another YouTube ad, that's actually crazy. How much is YouTube Premium? I swear to God. Where was I? It would take me a lot to actually want to follow that creator, especially if it's like the first time that I've seen them and I don't really remember them. So I guess after seeing someone's content maybe 3 or 4 times, or recognizing their face when it comes up, that's when I would be like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah, I want to follow him for more. Like, his stuff's being really funny. So I just think, yeah, it's back in the day, like if you came across a really funny reel or a funny creator, I feel like I was more likely to want to follow that person because it was kind of a new niche, like a new thing. Whereas now, like anyone can go viral and post a really funny video or just go viral from a random tech video or whatever. It doesn't mean when you see their face again that you're going to remember who that person is. So yeah, more content saturation, which equals less loyalty from followers. I also learned it's really important to try and find a balance between posting quality content, but also a decent quantity as well. You don't want to fall behind and post like once a month, or even worse, like you're posting every day for a week and then the next 2 weeks you don't post anything. You know, I don't have any evidence to back up that that's a bad thing. But I do feel like when you're posting content on Instagram and TikTok and any, social channel, YouTube even, you're sort of teaching the algorithm to say, hey, this creator posts once a week, every week. Let's push their stuff to more people because it's going to provide more value long-term for these followers. It's teaching the algorithm that if you're posting once a week, every week, long-term, the platform's going to be more likely to push that content to a larger audience because those people are getting value in return and long-term, which means that if there's more time spent watching on their platform, they're going to push that content to that person. Whereas if you're posting once a week for a month and then the next month you don't post at all, and then you maybe try and pick it back up again the month after, it may not work that way. They might not want to push that content to anyone because they're like, oh, this guy he's failed us once, he's going to fail us again. Do I have evidence of that? No, I don't. The next thing I found was when you're putting text up on a reel, like you got the description where you can type whatever you want and hashtag, that kind of thing. But text on the title, like on the reel screen itself, you don't want to have the text to be like too long, obviously depending what it is. And if it's a comedy-based thing, timing is really important. You don't want to have the viewer halfway through reading the title and then the punchline's already happened in the background. So that can be really tricky, I think. Try and keep it to like 2 lines of text max. But again, you have to just trial it and see what works. But for me, I found 2 lines of text kind of worked. Another thing that's important to remember is it does depend on the type of content or the niche that you are creating content for and where you want to be. For me, like as a comedy content creator, my stuff can appeal to a much wider audience, pretty much anyone who finds things funny. And that will be very different to someone, say, who's trying to start a run club channel on like how to get better at running or how to train for a marathon. That's very niche. And that kind of content will just take time, I guess, for the algorithm to know who to push that content to. My God, the screensavers today, I swear. So for me, it's been easier, I guess, to go viral with certain videos. And I'm not saying that you can't go viral making run content or anything tech or niche content. You definitely can. It's just, I guess if you're starting out, it could be a slower burn in terms of gaining that following. But again, I have no evidence of that working or not. It's just what I've learned from my experience. I'm not a content guru. I don't have a master class or anything like that. It's just my experience from what I've learned posting my kind of content. But also I've been in the media industry for like the last 10 years. So working with clients, creating content for them, I get to kind of see what works and what doesn't for them. And I kind of learn, what does the audience want to see from that? So I did definitely start with a bit of a leg up, I guess, compared to someone who's coming in fresh. So hopefully you can take something away from this video. On the flip side of that example I gave before about creating more broad content, comedy style like I do, compared to someone creating a run club channel or improving your run for a marathon, having a niche in that area is also a bit of a good thing because you can create a really loyal following. Whereas for me, when I'm posting funny content, people will come and follow my page because they found something specific really funny. But then if I'm posting something different for the next couple of weeks and not what they originally liked or that style or that area, they would unfollow. So it does happen a lot. And I think it's also people are still trying to do the follow for follow stuff. And it's like, I'll never ask my audience to follow me directly. I want it to be organic for that reason. People like my content, go for it. You can chuck me a follow. Another point is don't just start this because you think it's what you have to do or it's trendy or whatever. I think if you're starting this and you don't really have a passion just for making videos or a passion in the area that you're wanting to make the content in, say like starting a tech channel and you don't really have that much tech, I think it's going to be very easy to burn out. For me, I've always just been, creating skits and things like that. And it has been a bit of a grind. Like it's, posting once or twice a week, every week for a year. It's a lot. You do get into a routine and I do sort of film things in advance sometimes. And so I can schedule it out throughout the week if I've got a busy week coming up. But if the passion isn't there from the start, like you're setting yourself up for failure. In saying that though, don't put off from starting altogether just because you're scared or you think, oh, I can't do it or people are going to think I'm lame or whatever, because you could end up doing really well. At the end of the day, you're only going to grow from posting more content. Does that mean post 4 times a day, every day of the year? No. If that's what you want to do, great, you can try that out. But you just want to set yourself up from the start with what you can sustain long term. And for me, that was 1 or 2 videos a week. Another thing that I found is you can't cheat your audience. You need to assume that every piece of content that you're putting out, the viewers are experts, right? They're obviously not. But what I mean by that is there's so much content being consumed nowadays. Think about yourself. How many reels do you watch a day? How many hours do you spend on social media in the week? When someone posts something that might be their first video, or if they're being a bit fake, or maybe you get sent a product that you don't really use, but you wanted to post a reel about it, the audience can tell, you can kind of see through it. It's a fine balance of not overthinking everything that you do, but also only posting what you actually want to post, if that makes sense. Another point is don't expect your first piece to go viral. If it does, well done. But then you have to try and back that up every other reel that you do. You need to set yourself up for the long game and be realistic about how it's actually going to work. For me, I think it took between 10 and 15 reels for one of mine to blow up and go viral. It was my first 1 million views that I got on a video, and I was so pumped because all the hard work and, telling myself that I know I can do it, it paid off, and it just told me that I was on the right track, and it just pushed me to keep going. But for you, it could take longer than 10 or 15 reels, or it could be even shorter. But you just need to be realistic that it's not going to happen straight away. Something I found really useful in terms of staying up to date with not just trends and things, but tips and like updates to the app was the Instagram creators account. Follow that creators account because when they do update things and features in the app, they post about it, and there's like a broadcast chat channel as well that they post to, and it's been really helpful for me. The latest tip that I saw from that was that they're starting to push the smaller creators content more than just the bigger players, because it's not really fair for people coming onto the scene now. You can't really experience growth as quickly as they had back in the day. So one of my latest reels to go viral, the day after Christmas with the family video, when you just sort of spend the day like staring at a wall, I got a notification from Instagram saying that because that reel had been shared so much, I think it was like 50,000 shares, that people started downloading that or like reposting it on their own channels and stuff, like as their work. And a lot of the times, like people won't tag you. Some of those other content pages, like they'll just download people's work and post it, and they may not even tag the creator. But what Instagram is doing now is they can actually recognize that content. Similar to YouTube when you get flagged for copyright or whatever, if you're ripping someone else's video or using it to react, Instagram recognizes that video has been posted before. If it isn't changed or altered in any way, within reason, basically if someone's just trying to post it as their own content, Instagram will recognize that. It'll actually alert the original creator. It actually puts a little sticker on the reel saying original was, and then at Trentos Freshmaker or at the original creator. So people can click into that to find the original post, which I think is awesome. Death to all those accounts that just steal people's content and make a living off it and sell the space to clients for ads. So I think that's really positive, and it shows to me that Instagram and TikTok, they're wanting younger creators to come through. They're wanting smaller creators to come through. So they're trying to provide the best platform they can for that to happen. You can also follow other pages or maybe creators that do similar work to you, but I don't really encourage that too closely. I don't want to ever be at a point where I'm like stealing people's work or like blatantly copying them. I know a lot of YouTubers and content creators have said, scroll through YouTube and scroll through Reels and find what content has done really well and gone viral and copy that formula. And whilst that's all well and good, you don't want to have to copy the exact, if it's a trend or something, the exact thing. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about that, but obviously it can work. And yes, you can get views from that. But end of the day, like I'm not going to feel like fulfilled if that wasn't really my content. So really just try and stay original, but definitely use other people's content for inspiration on things that you might find funny or themes or whatnot. But I wouldn't just go ahead and like copy exactly their blueprint on what they've done. The best way to come up with ideas will obviously vary depending on your niche and your area of content that you want to make. For me, making relatable and funny content about things happening all around us means that I come up with these ideas and I think of these ideas when I'm out and about. So for me, I found the best method to keep track of these ideas is the Notes app on my phone that syncs with my laptop when I get home. I have a whole list of all these ideas. I've got probably like 40 to 50 ideas at any given time. And when I have a free hour or so to film, I'll go to that list, see what I can do, film it, post it, done. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. Tell me how good that was and how much you got from that. I do want to use this YouTube channel for people to get to know me a bit better. My followers, if you're coming across from Instagram and TikTok, thank you. If you're not, check out my accounts at Trentos_Freshmaker. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye. On the news, like when you're watching TV and they sign off for the night and they're just like rustling their paper and like talking. That's me. Go away.